working with the two of them, it really was a dream that turns out to be even better than the dream because they're so funny. They respect each other. They're amazing actors, and they're just delightful, good people. So that was great. And also, like, sometimes, you're pinching yourself like, oh, I'm going out for drinks with Awkwafina and Sandra Oh, look at me, fancy me.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are so well. We're so excited to be talking with you.
Thank you. I love it. You guys are shoulder to shoulder, so you're both in the frame like that.
We were sitting on top of each other before, but then they were like, no, you're not in frame. This is not a good camera set for this interview, so we had to move side to side.
It was good move.
Thank you for allowing us to sit shoulder to shoulder. We just want to say we had such a great time watching Quiz Lady. Awkwafina and Sandra Oh, who is a Canadian hero of ours, are so damn good together in this film, and we have to ask right away, what was it like working with them, and how hard was it to get through a take without just laughing the entire time?
Okay, so working with the two of them, it really was a dream that turns out to be even better than the dream because they're so funny. They respect each other. They're amazing actors, and they're just delightful, good people. So that was great. And also, like, sometimes, you're pinching yourself like, oh, I'm going out for drinks with Awkwafina and Sandra Oh, look at me, fancy me. But it was just so delightful. But you pointed out the one thing that was difficult was just the fact that we were cracking up a lot, especially Awkwafina. She would just break constantly. And like when she gets the giggles, everyone gets the giggles because it is the most fun thing. I mean, I actually love watching when she just cracks herself up. So yeah, that was the only hard part of this whole thing.
Yeah, and I can imagine with the cast that you have assembled in this film, there is just so many just heavy hitters of just comedy. So like you were just laughing.
It's great. Yeah, I know. It did feel like some wish fulfillment. I was like, oh, and I get Will Ferrell and Jason Schwartzman too, and Holland Taylor, like Tony Hale. It was wealth of the embarrassment of riches,
Absolutely. And we grew up loving game shows and they were appointment viewings for us. What were some of the game shows that you grew up loving, and what do you think is the most important part in making a great quiz show?
Oh, okay. So growing up, I was not very good at game shows, like Jeopardy, forget it. Like I would, I'd be like the big fat zero there. But I like the ones like Family Feud because just seeing, I guess that's kind of tied in, like everyone's related and they're squabbling or they're pretending that they don't, they're not mad at each other for not getting the right answer. I liked that part of it. But I think with the thing about the game show is like your host has to be someone you want to come back and see every night or every afternoon or whenever you're watching your game shows. I think that's a very important thing. And I think you got to have something where people can get the answers at home. That's what I would prefer because I don't like feeling like a dummy.
No, that's totally fair. I'm curious, did you have any consultants around creating the show, like ex-Jeopardy producers or something like that?
Well, so we visited, the production designer, Jeff Mann, and we went and visited The Price is Right and looked at some of their set pieces. So to get the feeling of it. And then we also, we had a team that had shot a lot of game shows doing our show within a show. So we had the authentic movement of the cameras and the angles and the things like that. And then, we had to just kind of invent parts of the game to help feature what happens between the sisters. So that part was really fun. And we think it should become an actual game show. So just putting it out there.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we'll audition for you right now if we could. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
we need I'm curious, you mentioned going to the Price is Right. Did you get to spin the big wheel while you were there?
No. We just, unfortunately. But, if you walk backstage and everything or while they're in there, they've just got all the set pieces for all the various games. It's pretty fantastic. They use all the old ones. It's retro heaven.
That's incredible. Absolutely love that. Now, you got to show this film off to a great audience at TIFF. I'm curious, what was that experience like for you last month being in Toronto and getting to hear just the laughter in person with everyone there?
Okay, so TIFF has great audiences, that big, beautiful theater. It just felt so... it was almost emotional I still get a little emotional after COVID, just being in groups of people, but there and just hearing the laughter and everything, it was just delightful. It felt so good. The only thing was not being able to have our cast and our writer there, but tried to like send some of that love because there was so much love for them from that crowd. It was like, that was heavenly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Jessica, I want to thank you so much again for your time. You've directed some fantastic episodes of television with Citadel recently, The Morning Show, This Is Us, just to name a few. And now, obviously, with Quiz Lady. Congratulations on the release again. And we hope to talk to you soon.
That sounds great. All right. You guys can separate now. Just, have your space.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you. Yeah, we are so happy to be talking with you on the movie podcast today. So thanks so much for sharing your time with us.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And congratulations on the film. We had such a great time watching, Awkwafina and our fellow Canadian Sandra Oh. How much did they influence the script once they kind of came on board?
They had a huge influence on it. We were very fortunate to be able to spend a full week together. Sandra, Awkwafina, me, and Jessica Yu, the director. We all went to London where Sandra and Jessica were working. And they had a couple days off around the same time. So we all got to just hang out and talk about our families and share stories and talk about the script and these characters. And so much came out of that we were able to put into the script and into the movie. And they just had such an amazing impact on their characters and bringing them to life.
Definitely. And I think, we were speaking with Jessica a bit earlier and just asking like how hard it must have been to get through a take without just dying of laughter, because you have assembled an incredible just comedy icons in this film. So it really is, it's a great time.
Yeah, I know. It was so amazing. Like, Will Ferrell is legitimately my Terry McTeer. So it was incredible to watch him. And he was so great with Awkwafina. Like, the two of them playing off of each other was amazing. Just everyone in the cast was so incredible. And it was so fun to see them just be so loose and playing around with each other.
Definitely. And growing up, we loved game shows. Obviously, we're assuming you did too. And like Anne, they were appointment viewing for us. Like, we wouldn't miss an episode of whatever show was on that night. So I'm curious for you, what was it about game shows that you loved growing up? Which ones were you watching? And when you're creating a game show like you guys did for this film, what's the most important part of making a real quiz show?
Great question. It's very hard to make up a quiz show because there have been so many. So you really are just like, how do we make this one unique? And we chose to just make ours extremely difficult. And it's a wide array of skills that you need to win Can't Stop the Quiz. But yeah, I mean, I loved game shows so much because they made me feel smart. Like, there was something very comforting about them, and you were still watching TV and just sitting on your couch at home, and that felt very comforting. But I just felt like, oh wow, I'm learning stuff. And I would remember when I would watch Jeopardy with my brother, and my brother is very much like Anne. He's just a genius and remembers everything he's ever seen or read, a skill that I do not have. But he would get every Jeopardy question right, and I would just be like, I don't know any of this stuff. And then slowly over time, I started being able to actually play along, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm an adult, I'm a genius. And it just makes you feel so involved and so good. And I think that it just sort of lends itself to a sense of community, because you feel like you see yourself in the contestants, and when you find someone else that is as into Jeopardy or whatever game show that you're into as you are, it just feels like, someone is seeing you for the first time for real. So I think it's just such a powerful community that is so nice to be a part of.
For sure. It's like watching sports. Like, I feel like whenever we watch any game show and we get a question right, it's like, oh, I could have won $50,000 right there.
Yeah. Totally.
That would have been that moment.
Yeah. Even though I know I would choke, I'm like, I don't think I'd be able to play it.
No, we being like the armchair experts.
Yeah,
exactly.
No. I think we know what 100 people would say.
Yeah.
I think we know.
Yeah.
In honor of the spooky season, we just wanted to let you know how much we loved Hocus Pocus 2. And I'm curious if you had any updates of when we may see the Sanderson sisters again, hopefully, fingers crossed.
I mean, I don't really have any updates. All I can really say is that I'm so excited about Hocus Pocus 2. I love Hocus Pocus and the Sanderson sisters. And I will write as many Hocus Pocus movies as Disney would like. So I'm very excited, and hopefully we'll be seeing them again soon. It was really great to, be able to dive right back into the world of Hocus Pocus when the strike ended. So I'm excited to be back in Salem.
I think we need a crossover, Quiz Lady and Hocus Pocus crossover.
Yeah, it's just a quiz show where it's only Hocus Pocus questions.
Or the Sanderson sisters on a quiz show.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, we got to see that. I'm also Mr. Linguini, I feel like there's got to be some witchcraft keeping him alive for this long. So there's a nice crossover.
Absolutely.
Jen, thank you so much for your time. We had a blast talking with you, and we really hope we get to talk to you again. And congratulations once more on the film.
Thank you so much. It was so great chatting with you guys.